a second episode of I Read You Read ASMR version. Very excited about this, so let's roll the intro music. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Episode 2, February. We read Stephen King's The Outsider. Wow. 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 All I have to say is wow. So, from the first episode, I'm hoping you guys get the gist. I'm going to read a synopsis that I write, and then, I'm going to create a little edit for the trailer. That way it's worth watching, and then give my review, give my rating, and we'll see what's going on for the next month. When a local boy is found murdered in Flint City, Oklahoma, a mountain of DNA, several eyewitnesses, and Detective Ralph Anderson are more than sure that the perpetrator is none other than the city's finest, Coach Terry Maitland. The single decision to publicly arrest and humiliate Coach T at the biggest game of the season will be the first of many mistakes in a case so rare and unbelievable, it shakes the belief of anyone who dares to get close.
I'm as baffled by this conflicting evidence as you are.
As the case is opened wide to dissolve the details, what's left can only be described as supernatural. When Terry's defense team enlists the help of Holly Gibney, along with Detective Anderson, the strange only gets stranger as The Outsider plays on the minds of all who dare to expose him. The Outsider by Stephen King begs the question, can we atone for our sins, and can we move on? Or do these bad dreams just make more bad dreams? Ooh, what a book. What a book. You can't read it at night. Wouldn't suggest it. Started giving me nightmares. And not the regular nightmares, the kind of nightmares that had you checking your body to make sure that you weren't made of worms. So, if you read the book, then maybe you'd understand that. If you didn't, hopefully you do after this review. So, you know what? We're not going to mess with it. Okay, that is The Outsider. Tried not to give away any details because, I want you guys to be just as surprised as I was. I'm not a big spoiler, so if you came for that, you came to the wrong place. First and foremost, the opening, the hook, was just incredible. In this book, it felt like the questions that you had were immediately answered in the most foolproof fashion, and upwards to a couple hundred pages. I would just say the first 100 pages, you're so sure of where this book is, and if you didn't know it was a Stephen King novel, you would know, like, oh, this is a really cool CSI, this is a really cool investigation type workbook. It's really interesting to see the transformations that Ralph Anderson, which is the main character, that he goes through as he goes from an everyday detective to this sort of doubter, this person who is starting to see things and feel things that he can't even comprehend. And that's the second thing that I really liked, is that, Ralph's character, Stephen King, nailed it when it came to an anchor to the reality, the true world, and the supernatural underworld. And Ralph was balancing perfectly in the balance of those two things. And so, and then finally comes the ending. I don't want to spoil anything. I haven't seen the series on HBO, but I will say that I'm hoping that they can capture the dynamic of what they went through, and how significant Holly was for Ralph, and how significant Ralph was for the rest of the events to play, even from, some of the tragedies that happened early on in the book. For this book, I'm easily going to have to give it an 8.2. So that's it for episode 2. We did Stephen King, we did The Outsider. We're moving on. March, we are reading, thanks to a recommendation, I'm reading, I believe it's called Scythe. Scythe by Neil Shusterman for the month of March. Very excited about that. It is a recommendation from someone who saw my first episode, and they're like, hey, you need to check out this book. So I really appreciate recommendations, because these are books that I probably would never have heard of. So very excited to read that, and we will see you guys next time. Let's roll the outro that I finally shot.